Hi, this is Karen Blevins, and in this demonstration, I'm just going to provide an overview of the Symbiota Sandbox environment. So the Sandbox environment is a development environment. This is where they're testing out some of the code. What I want you to pay attention to is the warning at the bottom where it says the data in this portal is not guaranteed and regular backups are not maintained. But they will be backed up by me. So every night at 11 p.m., I will create a backup. So if anything goes wrong in that 24-hour period, we may have to revert back to the most recent backup. So just be aware of that. So when you first come into the Symbiota Sandbox, this is where you land, the home page. And you can see we have the search collections, map search, checklist, image search, data use, about Symbiota sitemap, and help. There's also my profile, which is where you're primarily going to be working, but I just want to give you an overview of this initial landing page. So we're at the home page. If you go to search collections, you'll see all the collections that are available to you to search. Searching does not mean that you have editing rights. You only have editing rights within our collection, the amphibians and reptiles. So if you do a search here, if you create a search here with everything selected, you will get records returned from all collections. However, if you just want to search on one collection, so for example, you just want to search amphibians and reptiles, you're going to find it in the list and you're going to hit search. So you can see where you have multiple criteria that you can select from: scientific name, family name, taxonomic group, all of those are available to you, locality criteria, lat long, collector criteria, and specimen criteria. So you can search, limit them to those with images, or so again, there's ways that you can narrow down the search. When you do that search, and I'm just going to search on scientific name, and I'm going to go to Holbrookia elegans, and the first display, you can do a list, and that's where it's just listing the results set. And of course the collection. If there were more collections, I don't think there's going to be any more. Well, there isn't, because we're just searching on this. If we were searching more collections, then there would be a header for each collection. If I go back to the search criteria, same one. If I do table display, so notice that's my results set. It tells me how many, 14 records. I can download it if I want. I can, sort by collection and then by whatever field I decide that I want to search on or sort on. Now, again, we only have 14 records and we only have one collection. So if I want to look at a particular record, I can go in, oops, and you can see I have various ways to look at the data associated with it. And again, you're not going to be using this too much, but I just want you to get an idea of how it works. So that's our search criteria, using just the attributes, right? If I wanted to do a map search, so we have this search panel, and again, I can limit my collection, and again, I am going to limit my collection to the amphibians. There we are. Okay, so go back up. And then criteria, we're going to do the same thing. Scientific name, Holbrookia elegans, and again, it's going to come up because it's in the, and I'm going to limit to country, and I'm going to take out county completely. And then we have map options, and of course you can, limit to collectors or type of specimen as well. But I'm also going to use these map options, which is grid size. So the grid size is basically the clustering size. So you can change that. You can turn off clustering however you choose. And I'll show you the difference. Might not be enough. We only have like 14 records, so there may not be a lot of difference in terms of when you change that once we run the search. So I'm going to go ahead and hit search. It's going to zoom in on Arizona. And there we are. Pretty spread out. Okay. So notice if I zoom in on there, you can see that's part of that clustering. All right. So if I go back, let's see, I'm not sure how this is going to change it, but this panel is kind of funky. It kind of slides in when you don't want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to grid size of 10 and clustering size. Let's just make it 5, just to see if that changes it. And it does a little bit. You can see where it's spread out a little bit more. You know, if I zoom in, then it's going to start basically declustering because you're zooming in. So if I turn off clustering completely and I hit refresh map, so you can see there's no clustering at all. Now, if I decide that I want to search by polygon, I can just do a kind of an odd little search, not odd little search, odd little shape. And of course, I'm going to refresh the map and it should be to that polygon, and it is. So you have a polygon option, you have a rectangle option, so a rectangle, and you have a circle option. And then you can stop drawing. So those are your map search, the type of map searches you can perform within the Symbiota environment. And again, we're going to go over these in more detail later on in other videos. So we've done map search, we've done search collection, checklists. These are some of the checklists available. I haven't looked at them because I know they're, for one thing, they're part of the development environment, and I don't know that I actually have access. I don't think I do. I do. So they must be public. But again, there are no checklists that have been created for this project. Image search, again, if you want to look at, so let's just do the whole Brochia elegans, see if there's any images. So let's see what we've got. Yeah, so no images came up with that. But again, you can, oops, I don't want map. You can figure out from, again, within the profile environment, it's going to be a little different. So I'm not sure exactly how you're going to approach your editing, your reviewing. I'm going to provide you guidelines for that. But again, I know that each person will develop their own approach. So it just may depend on how you approach it, how you do an image search. Data use is just guidelines for the acceptable use of the data within the Symbiota environment. And then about Symbiota, it is an open source software. So you know, with open source, there are lots of contributors. The sitemap is just giving you basically a text reference on the site. So to the search engine, all of that. And then help, it's a pretty robust documentation. For the help, you just have to know exactly what you're searching for. But it does have a fairly well developed help tool. So once we're pretty much through with reviewing this environment, again, the place that you're going to go pretty automatically is the My Profile. And you see you have 3 tabs. Species checklist. Again, there are no checklists for this collection. Your user profile information, so you can change that from here. And then, of course, the occurrence management. This is where you're going to see the amphibians and reptiles of Arizona. So you don't have to go through that long list. Find the amphibians and reptiles and select it. This is a more direct access to that collection of which you are a member and an editor. There are no data sets created for this project either, so don't worry about that. And then once you get into the amphibians and reptiles, these are your options in terms of searching, changing, and all of that. You can get a quick glimpse of how many specimen records, georeference records, families, all of that information is available to you. You can look at a geographic distribution. So in other words, how many are in Cochise, etc. And of course, United States should be all of them. And then family distribution. So there's lots of ways that you can get an idea of the data available to you. All the other, oops, sorry about that. Once you click that, I want to go here. Yeah, you don't want to, you just want to stay here. But I will go over these tools in other videos. So that concludes this demonstration on the Sandbox, Symbiota Sandbox environment. Thank you.